We cannot afford to be so politically correct anymore. We will...
Hey there, I'm stuck in dead stop traffic in lower New York State on my way back from the Republican convention in Cleveland, Ohio. On my drive back, I was listening to the speeches at the convention tonight, and I've just listened to my first complete Donald Trump speech. I have a lot of feelings about this, but the one main feeling is I don't know how Hillary Clinton is going to beat this guy. Now, before I get into it, I'd like to point out that my track record is pretty terrible. And I find that actually pretty heartening. I really don't like either one of these candidates, but I think I'd probably feel a little safer if Hillary Clinton was the president come January. But listening to this speech, I just don't see it happening. Here's why. So, the politics of fear are the main part of any politician's toolbox in the United States, and really anywhere, unfortunately. That's just the world we live in. And I think Donald Trump is just a master of it. He's really good at it. His speech, the way that he worked to curry fear, was pretty horrific on a lot of levels. If you look at the specific word choices that he used, the catchphrases he used, they have a really problematic history. People have been making a lot of his choice of America first, going back to Charles Lindbergh and maybe pro-Nazi is too much, but the movement against American involvement in World War II, that's actually not what I found the most troubling. What I found the most troubling was his repetition of law and order, law and order, law and order. And through the choice of convention speakers throughout the events of this past week, that has been a real theme. Now, one of the nicest things that we've been able to say about the Republican Party over the past 3 or 4 years or so is that there was a real breakdown in the old consensus on crime and mass incarceration. It seemed like Republicans were really kind of interested in looking at this issue seriously and trying to find a solution other than lock them up, lock them up, lock them up. Didn't see any of that in Donald Trump's speech tonight. In fact, the way that he was talking about these things, specifically with that emphasis on law and order, goes all the way back to Richard Nixon's Southern strategy. This is the strategy through which he picked up all of the old-fashioned racist constituency of the Democratic Party from the Civil War until the 1960s. He picked it up by making sort of coded references to African Americans. And the classic way that he did that was through law and order, law and order. So it's terrifying for me to see this language, this specific approach coming back into American life. I've got dozens of videos talking about how there are definitely better ways to look at these issues. But I think it's very effective. I think that he has proved over and over again, he started his campaign with fear, that he's very effective at this. I think one of the main reasons that folks aren't really going after him for this law and order stuff is that both Republicans and Democrats are very guilty of using these same talking points. It's a big part of the established conversation, and it's something that I was hoping we were moving away from, but I don't see that. So I think Trump is going to win on the politics of fear. He's just better at it. But that's not the real problem. That's not even the main issue. The main thing that Clinton is trying to run on is her record. I think during the speech, Trump very effectively demolished that record. Trump devoted a crazy amount of time to going through Clinton's record. He depicted her time as Secretary of State as an unmitigated disaster. He pointed to problems in Libya, problems in Iraq, problems in Syria. I don't think he mentioned problems in Ukraine too much. Probably should have. And he also talked a lot about Hillary Clinton's involvement with the elites, the old elites, and how she's completely bought off by Wall Street, blah, 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 blah. The problem with this critique is that it's accurate. I can't see her denying this in any real way. I mean, yes, she's not as objectionable a human being as Donald Trump, but his critique is accurate. Unless he completely flubs the debates, I don't see how Hillary Clinton can realistically counter that. Her ads thus far have focused on what a vile human being that Trump is. I don't think anybody disputes that. I had the opportunity to speak to a lot of his supporters this weekend. I don't think any of them deny that he's a pretty objectionable human being. They see that as a plus. I don't know, maybe I'm just incorporating a convention bump in my own analysis. Maybe Hillary Clinton's speech next week will blow me away as much as this one did. I hope so.